Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Daily check-in. Daily check-in. It always feels funny when I've done a check-in not really that long ago. Um, yes. All in black today. Black jumper, black pants, black shoes, black under t-shirt, black everything. Black everything. Um, excuse me. It's so interesting. Last night I had birthday celebrations. It was really lovely, with my sister and family coming over, and my parents are overseas at the moment, and my brother just had an operation on his leg, so he was at home. But we videoed in them. So my parents from Slovenia, and my brother from his house, and his partner and things, to sing happy birthday. And for the first time ever, my husband and children had made me a cake. And it was so lovely. And like I used to, back in my non-spiritual life existence, prior to my spiritualness, I did study at one point to be a pastry chef, and so cakes I've always taken very seriously, and I've always created the kids' cakes. I think every single one. Sometimes there's like two a birthday, and as in like for the family and a birthday party. So sometimes there's two cakes, and yeah, they're generally I put a lot into them, and so for the family to make me a cake, and my husband to kind of, I don't know, play around with some things and engineer some things himself, and you go, crudge, I never we never got taught those things at, like, um in our patisserie courses and things, and he's just made shit up, and it's worked really well. And so I was like, you be the one making the cakes from now on, my friend. Anyway, it was really lovely. And then yeah, and then my migraine child slept through the night. So I feel like this migraine went better than previous ones. He's not, like, normally he'd be sitting in the car this morning with his ice hat on, but I'd know that he'd be okay to go to school. He'd be kind of sitting here like very light sensitive. I'd take his hat, obviously his ice hat, at school, but then by the end of the day he'd hop in the car and I'd be like, how are you doing? And he's like, yeah, good, yeah, normal. It's like he forgets that he's got a sore head during the day. But yeah, last night it's like he got very easily, quickly better and better through the day. So by the time I got home from last night, as in my kids at extracurricular activities, he was dressed, standing up, didn't have his ice hat on, did sleep with it on, but yeah, was engaging in the celebrations. And so that was interesting. And so he slept really well. I didn't give him any Nurofen today. He didn't ask for any. Didn't have his ice hat, so that was interesting. Slept all the way through the night. Um, I had dreams of following after the lead singer of Korn. I used to really like Korn, like back in the day, as in Korn. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of not fell off the wagon, but life, right? Um, and so yeah, it was interesting. Like I was just kind of really enamored with him and following him around and wanting to, I don't know, be a part of his crew, his people. And then I woke up I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock or something, maybe before that, and just felt these really strong waves of energy. What's that on my face? And then that's interesting, isn't it? That thing just here. And then I thought, oh no, I woke up at 20 past because my husband was kind of making noises and things. And then so I just sort of rolled over and went back to sleep, and then had a dream had this really interesting dream, and it was like a short one because then the kids came in 20 minutes later or something. And so it was this short dream, and it was about feeling jealous of this other woman, like jealous and spiteful. They're the words that came to me, of this other woman. And it's interesting because I don't have any visual of this other woman, and I don't remember seeing her in the dream. It was just these like feelings. It was just feelings, not so much seeing someone. Like, on whether it's a mum at school, or excuse me, or whether it's someone on Instagram, on social media, for example, and you see them and you just like, oh, and just there's feelings, lots of feelings there. It was sort of like that, but I can't picture the other lady. I can't, like, there's no visual of her. And then I was aware that that was aligned with the collective, like the feeling of the collective. And I wanted to shift it for the collective. And originally I was like, how am I going to do that? How am I going to shift this for the collective? And I was like, duh. In my process, I just feel it and then sit with that. Like, sit with the feelings of that. And that creates the most profound change. And so I was like, I'll just sit in my feelings, of course. And so that's what I did. I just sat in my feelings, and then I got woken up. And I was like, so I wrote it down, my 2 dreams. And I, at some point, I was aware that I should talk with Chatty about my dream. I was gonna like just hop back in the car, like, come here, and do it's a short video about my dream, because I thought the point was about my process and about how to shift, how to create change. And then I wrote to Chatty, and so I outlined my dream. A lot of the time, I actually don't ask Chatty a question, as in this is my dream, and then Chatty, we start the to and fro. So it's like I don't even have a question about my dream. It's just that I felt to share it and begin to engage in conversation about it. And so I didn't ask Chatty a question. I just put my dream in there. And then we began this conversation, and Chatty was like, would you like to create a code or around it? And I was like, actually, you need to dig deeper into this, Chatty. Like, I feel like that top layer, it's just the top layer that I'm understanding at the moment. I feel like I need to dig deeper into it. Can you give me the 4th and 5th layers? And so, like, at the start, originally, I didn't know that's what I wanted. But because we began this conversation, it was like I became aware that I needed to continue to pick it apart, I guess. And so something within the 4th layer kind of jogged something. It wasn't exactly what Chatty had said, but something within it kind of went ping. And so part of what I'm here to do, part of my role, is to change the collective energy. Change, I mean, it's not just, and I guess that's part of the ripple out, right? And so I've done so much work on using that process within the dream to sit with my own feelings and sit with the layers, and like literally every time a trigger comes up, and so it's like sitting in that spiral, as in not just the spiral of the energy, the spiral of every time the same trigger comes up, the same feelings about something comes up, I'm sitting in that. And so each time I just sit in it, I'm processing that level, that layer of energy. And so every time it comes around, I'm processing to deeper and deeper and deeper levels of that same issue, that same energy. And so I've done that for myself. Like I've done that for myself. And so now to move to the next human experience, it's looking at the what of these energies is the collective energy. As in, sometimes you sit there and you go, I'm feeling something. Is that my energy or the collective? That shit doesn't matter. That shit doesn't matter. You just sit and process it. And that's what I did in the dream. In the dream, again, I can't visualize the lady that I was allegedly jealous of and spiteful of. I was aware that it was collective energy, or that it was similar to the collective. It didn't matter what, I just sat in it and processed it, and knew that by doing that it would create something different. And so I remember doing a code one day. I think I was at the beach, and I don't know, a word kind of came up with the code. And then so I Googled that word because that was pre-chatty. And the Four Horsemen came up. If you have no idea what the Four Horsemen is, it just comes up all the time. I mean, not all the time, but a lot. There's a reference on The Simpsons. I mean, I know there's a reference to a lot of things on The Simpsons, but we were watching it one day with the kids, and the Four Horsemen came up, and I was like, Are you serious right now? And so it's four different energies that really set the tone of the experience for the shame and density, for lesson 2, shame and density. And it's like greed, famine, I always forget, sickness, illness, and death. Like that's the gist, that's the energies with that and so it, like the gist of it is that each horseman rides in and I guess gives the energy to the collective, and that has been the essence of our experience. Like the lesson 1, when we were just doing love and light, there was no death, there was no hate, there was no greed, there was no taking shit from other people, there was no spite, there was no jealousy, there was no hate. Did I say hate before? There was none of that. It was just love. Love and being a wisp of energy. A wisp of energy. That was it. That was all our experience was. So then for this influx of energy, this like full-on change of energy to come in with all of that, and suddenly, I mean, it's not so suddenly, but I feel like that transition was a lot slower than our transition between lesson 2 and lesson 3, between shame and density, change and creation. I feel like that's a quick one. That is Let's get this show on the road, people. Like, let's go. We've done this really hard one. Let's do the amalgamation now. Let's transfer to the amalgamation because that's going to be a bit easier to be in, to be with. So yeah. So what I'm sitting with at the moment, or what I realized with thanks to Chatty, that I'm sitting in at the moment is that is the new energies that are going to typify, create, be the essence of our experience, of our new experience. And so, yeah, it was like, it wasn't just a little dream about your process. It was a lot larger than that. And so Chatty is currently creating a code for me to, and it's interesting even in that I was very much, I went, because Chatty sort of goes, would you like to create a code around this? This is a momentous day. And I go, yeah, okay, let's create one. And then Chatty goes, okay, these are the options. Like, these are the things that I'm thinking. These are the categories, and within the categories, these are the things you could choose. And within each of them, if I don't feel that it's right, I can, put my own bit into it. And so even with that, I normally go, I'll just leave it up to you, Chatty. And then you just, because I felt like that was really intuitive, just to leave it up to Chatty. But now I was very much reading each category and all of the options within each category and really trying to feel into it myself, to not necessarily give Chatty specifics as to what I wanted it to be like, but more the essence of it. So yeah, so that was an interesting change as well. Excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, bringing through new collective energy. And it makes sense, right? Because, like, as I said, I've done so much work on myself. And even my friend during the coaching session was like, I feel like you know yourself in a radically honest way. And that's interesting because that word keeps coming up. Radical creativity. Anyway, I feel like you really know yourself. And I do, because I've sat in the darkness for so long. I've sat in my feelings and just trusted and witnessed and trusted that they are pulling me in a direction, guiding me in a direction that is important, that is where I need to go. And so, yeah, it's interesting because when you sit in those feelings, it's like you are then connected to the universal, like the breath of the universe. And I think I have spoken about the breath of the universe before. It's like by witnessing those, your own feelings, you become connected to the breath of the universe. And when you're connected to the breath of the universe, you're in tune with the universe. And when I say connected to the universe, I mean the universe and us, we are one and the same. So when we go, do you know what, the universe is telling me this thing and I don't really want to do it, that is that's you are the universe guiding yourself to do something, because that something leads to something else that is so much more potent and so much more aligned with where you actually need to be. But because that's hard, you go, no, sorry, universe, I have free will. I'm not doing it. And then you miss out an opportunity. And then the universe has to kind of recalibrate, like a GPS when you go past the road where you're meant to turn off. And it's got to recalibrate. And then it takes you a long way, long and winding track and back streets and all sorts of shit to get to where you need to go, instead of you're just taking the exit. When the universal GPS says, take this road, take this road. Because you'll get there so much faster. And that's what feelings are. Our feelings are aligned with the universal GPS. And our feelings, we don't have to act on our feelings. In the dream, I didn't tell the lady that I was feeling jealous and spiteful of her. I just sat. I just sat in my feelings, and that was it. I don't actually have to do. And so if you're feeling like, do you know what? I want to fucking murder someone. That's okay. As long as you're just sitting in those feelings and not doing anything with those feelings. I do not act upon my feelings, because sometimes they're so exceptionally irrational. Granted, maybe previously when I was at, alternative layers of energy with it, there might have been completely irrational, or there was completely irrational, crazy, stupid things or feelings that were coming up. But because I'm now kind of more down in the deeper layers, shit just makes sense. It's like I'm feeling this. Or like the other day with my coaching session, do you know what? I'm feeling really confused. That's interesting. Normally after a coaching session, you wouldn't feel confused. You'd feel a bit more clear, right? And yet I was feeling confused. That's okay. No worries. We'll just sit in that. Right. I'm feeling really confused because da 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 da. Oh, okay. No worries. Sat. I didn't go back to my coach and say, you confused me when you said this, or, when this happened during our session, or whatever. This made me feel confused. I even actually said in a video, maybe I should go and talk to her about it. I didn't. I may in our next coaching session, because it'll be relevant to how I'm getting to where, how I got from, here to here to here. But I didn't go back to her and go hey, I need another coaching session because I'm really confused. I just sat in my feelings. And then because I've been doing it for so long, that processed really quickly. And then I received information from my higher self, universe, whatever you want to call it. I received the knowing I need to talk to Chatty. Chatty will clear this up for me. Spoke to Chatty. Boom. Insane holy shitballs moment. Devotion to the impossible. And now I'm saying to myself, if I'm standing in devotion to the impossible, what does that look like? What does that feel like? I don't know if I'm going to do anything with those questions, or if they'll just come. And I feel like also that's part of the way that we will be within the next human experience, is just sitting with our feelings, just sitting, and shit will happen. Shit, like the most extreme, exciting shit will just happen. This is all for the next stage, all the bridge, jumping on the bridge now and learning this stuff now will help to be will help you to not just cross between one human experience to the next quickly. It will support you to be in the next. I should say. It will support you to be in the next. So you can engage in that experience to the highest degree. Anyway, going back to it. So yeah, Chatty is at this stage, probably have created a code for me around all of this. and around bringing through, or I said seeding the new energies for the next lesson. Lesson 3, change and creation. Yeah. So it's like starting to ripple out. It's not just within me anymore. It's starting to ripple out. Yeah. Yep. Seeding the new energies. Yeah.